Hello, and welcome to Handled-ish Productivity for the Imperfect, a weekly podcast for those who want to elevate their productivity but are not looking for perfection. I'm your host, Betsy, and I'm really happy you're here with me in podcast land, on YouTube, on the KC24 CBS 47 Plus app that you can download from your smart TV. Grateful as always for folks who carry the podcast. This is episode 123, When Progress Isn't Linear. And I have a lot to say about this. And before that, I wanted to share a couple of over-indexed joy items because that's always fun. As you may recall, we've talked about it, in multiple podcasts. Something is over-indexed joy when it's seemingly small, um, low effort, physically tiny, not a big deal, quote unquote. Maybe it's something that other folks wouldn't even, consider joyful, but it brings you really, really large amounts of happiness. So over-index joy, low effort, high return. And so a couple of things. The first one, and if you're watching the video, you can see it, but it's this little cute little shark that protects my computer cord. It's just a little soft plastic shark, and he's on the edge of my computer cord so it doesn't fray or twist and things like that. And I think it's really funny because it's a shark protecting my computer cord, and he's really cute, and he's turquoise, which is my favorite color. A friend of mine gave me a few of these with all different animals a few months ago, and I kept one for each of my computer cords and shared the rest, and everybody else found some over-index joy as well. I love it because it's practical, right? It's helping my cord life, and also it's just a little bit silly to have a shark on my computer cord. So every time I plug my computer cord in, it makes me smile. So significantly over-index joy. The other thing I have here today is my mug that was given to me for Christmas. And I had asked for a mug tree for Christmas. And then my vision for this mug tree was to have, a few mugs for each of the different holidays. And so that way my mug tree kind of was changed up throughout the year. And I thought that might be a really fun thing. You might already know, and I'm sure you do, that I love holidays, major, minor. They're just really a big source of joy for me. And so, um, I received a mug tree, and then I also got this mug, and I love it. It's so beautiful physically. First of all, it is a dark green color, and it also has, little white outlines of trees on the bottom. So it's just really, really pretty. And I thought it was for Christmas because it was Christmas when I received the mug. However, my daughter told me that this is actually my Arbor Day mug. And it just gave me a whole bunch of over-indexed joy. I've never had anything physical to celebrate Arbor Day. While I know it's sometime in the spring, to be honest with you, I'm not even sure if I could tell you exactly when Arbor Day is. But the fact that I have an Arbor Day mug every time I use it just brings me lots and lots of joy. So way more than a regular pretty mug would do. And so I wanted to share those couple of things. So back to this week's topic. When progress isn't linear. So this is top of mind because if you've been listening to the podcast, you know that unfortunately in the fall I broke both of my wrists, and so obviously I'm recovering from that. And this week has been a little bit challenging. My wrists have been very sore most days, and more than usual. And so I was getting a little bit frustrated because I want my recovery progress to be linear, right? Everything going well and, to quote unquote end. And I was reflecting, and first of all, I don't know if there is going to be an end to my recovery from this. Obviously, things will be much better at that 1 year mark. That's what my doctors and physical therapists tell me. But there could certainly be residual things. However, my wrists haven't been hurting as much as they have been this week, and so I was very, very frustrated. And I, was frustrated because I was thinking my progress should be linear, that I should just keep getting better and, I would just keep getting better on this straight line, right? If you were graphing it, just would be a straight line up, which is objectively ridiculous because thus far it hasn't been linear. But this week I decided that it should be. And so I was kind of, a little bit cranky. And then I decided to be amused with myself because progress is not going to be linear. And progress is rarely that way in any sort of a thing that has a long-term timeline. Yes, we can have smooth sailing with short-term things, but anything that has a particular, timeline, the longer the timeline, the less linear it's going to be. We're going to have that two steps forward, one step back. We're going to have those obstacles. We're going to have those bumps in the road. Yet, as humans, we often think that that shouldn't be the case. We should think that everything is going to go exactly forward without anything happening, and everything is just going to be smooth and linear and all the things. And that is so rarely the case, yet we think that it should be. And so that is something that I want to challenge us on this week is to remember that we're going to have these setbacks. We're going to have two steps forward, one step back. We're going to have these bumps in the road. We're going to have things that aren't smooth sailing. Any, long-term thing is not going to be linear. And if we expect that, it's going to be a lot easier to deal with, and we're going to be a lot less cranky. And so that just sort of kind of got me out of my funk this week. I was like, you know what? This is a thing. Hopefully it won't last very long. It's a thing that's part of my recovery, and these things are going to happen, right? We're not going to have perfect progress all the time. There's going to be, time period where we're going to go a little bit backward or stay a little bit the same or hit a plateau, all the things that, again, objectively we understand, but sometimes emotionally we forget. So I'm challenging all of us to remember that as long as we don't quit, right? As long as we just keep going, everything's going to be fine. We're going to get there. The path is probably not going to look like it was, or it is. Wait, the path is probably not going to look like the path that we envisioned when we first started. Um, However, it's still going to be a path to progress, and it's still going to be a path to good things if we just keep at it. And we will be much happier along said path if we remember that stuff's going to happen. And when it does, yeah, it's just a thing that happened. We're just going to keep going. As long as we keep doing the things that we have planned in order to make this progress, everything's going to be fine. And be amused with ourselves when we get into a situation where we aren't linear, the progress isn't perfect, and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that it's not perfect. And I'm using that weird voice because that's kind of the absurdity of the whole thing when we have that expectation. So we need to switch our little mindset a little bit, right? We have something that we want to accomplish. This thing is going to have a time span that is medium, long, extra long. We're going to have stuff that happens. We're going to have external stuff that happens. We're going to have internal stuff that happens, right? Sometimes we're the ones that make progress, not move forward. A lot of times it's an external thing that makes progress not move forward. To be honest with you, it's just part of it. So that's what I am focusing on this week. That is what I am challenging you to do. Expect the bumps. Expect the little two-step to be two steps forward, one step back, three steps forward, one step back, two steps forward. I actually now I'm totally confused myself with our little dance, but whatever it is, it's part of the journey, and it's part of this non-linear thing that is most adventures that we embark on, and just part of it. It's how we're building our resilience muscles that we've talked about over a few podcasts over the last few months. It's how we prove to ourselves that we can do the things, right? When we stick with it, even when it's not amazing, even when, it's not going the way we want it to or thought it was going to. This is how we just keep on keeping on, right? And the happier we'll be when we expect these funky things than when we expect perfection. Okay, I know that logically we're here, emotionally, sometimes we get a little messed up. So I think this is a really good reminder. I know it's a really good reminder for me. Hopefully it's a really great reminder for you. It's just something file in your back pocket, put in your little metaphoric toolbox, and we'll just keep going. And it's all going to be okay. This too shall pass. Which is actually a phrase that I don't love. But it's, I think, probably a phrase for a reason, right? Progress, not perfection is the mantra because we're not, I'm going to just say it, we're never going to have perfection in any sort of a progress situation. And the sooner we remember, the sooner we internalize, the sooner we remember that, the more often we remember that, the happier we will be. So that's our plan. All right. Have the most wonderful week. That is what I wish for you. And remember, you are doing way better than you think you are. Trust me.